Jordan, open. Chicago with the lead. Bryant to Shaq.
Not a game. We talking about practice.
LeBron James with no regard for human life. Anything's possible.
Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
Curry for three.
Wow! Unbelievable. Making it rain in New York.
We the North are now we the champions. Not the destination, it's the journey. Mamba out.
G'day and welcome to the Ball Boys NBA podcast, episode 2. I'm here with Jermaine and I'm joined remotely by Callum, who's down in the depths of Canberra. Where are you at the moment, Callum?
How you going, guys? I'm down in a very fun town of Yass. Yass, baby.
The big Yass, the big smoke.
The big
Whereabouts
apple.
is that exactly?
Look, 6,000 people. It's about an hour outside of Canberra, our nation's capital.
Yeah. The nation's capital. Well,
Indeed.
Thanks for joining us remotely, and it's been a bit of work getting the technology going, but we're up and running.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get started, I just want to say a big shout out to Jermaine for that legendary intro that we've all just heard.
I hope all the listeners are all hyped right now.
When I heard that intro, I was actually so hyped, and I'm so stoked the way it turned out. So
Well, that was definitely the goal.
big props to you, Jermaine. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we've
Absolutely.
got a good show for you guys. Episode 2 of the Ball Boys podcast. We're just going to be going through, first of all, a few notes and happenings around the NBA. The biggest takeaway, though, is we've got NBA action back. We've had some basketball being played. I've been watching some highlights and some things that are happening around the league. So we just want to start off by just going through the latest, and actually hot off the press this morning. I think this was Woj's first tweet this morning after being
yes.
suspended.
Yes, this is the one.
The New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, have signed Tom Thibodeau. Big news. They're going straight to the championship next year. We've got a dynasty incoming. Here we go. The New York Knicks, Tom Thibodeau.
Mate, that man.
5 years.
He just keeps on finding a way to to get back in the league.
I'm really sorry for any Knicks supporters that are listening at the moment, but
Yeah.
fuck that franchise is awful. What are you doing?
I've been
Like,
feeling
what a
bad for the
signing.
Knicks Association for, I think, 20 years now. 20 straight years, boys.
Oh my
They've been
god!
in a rough spot for a
Yeah.
long time.
How do you sign someone for 5 years as a coach in an era like now where coaches are lasting 1 or 2 years, and you're signing Tom Thibodeau, who has not done anything good since he's been a coach at the Bulls,
Yeah. But that's like 10 years ago.
and that it's not 2012 anymore. Like it's 2020. You've
Yeah,
got
the
a
game has
Knicks
changed
franchise.
so much in the past 8 years.
I feel like the Knicks are just clinging on to like the 90s era, like we played physical defense and, like...
Run your players 40 minutes a game until they,
Well, remember a
Yeah.
few seasons ago, Phil Jackson wanted to run the triangle. Let's do the triangle.
Yeah.
Got Derek Fisher as a coach
so sad.
for a while.
So,
So sad.
I feel
man.
bad. I feel real
RJ
bad for the Knicks fans. Goodness.
oh man, I would be walking out the door if I was a Knicks fan.
And I feel like Tom Thibodeau has like I feel like he's being paid from other contracts still at this moment.
He may well could be. Like,
Because
just
he-
people who
he
fired
keeps
him
getting
and just...
throwing contracts, just money up, like just so much money. He's making bank.
If there's a market for RJ Barrett to lead the league in minutes next year, I'm putting my house on it because that guy's going to get run into the floor.
Do you think that's a good thing as a young player?
No, I think he's going to be like his career could potentially get shortened by like 5 years.
Then
just
you
by the
Luol
base on the fact.
Dang. Remember how he did that in Chicago? Ran him to the
Yeah.
ground.
Luol Deng, Andrew Wiggins, like Karl Anthony Towns back when he was with the Timberwolves, man. Anyway, we'll move on from that, but I just thought that was hilarious. Classic Knicks. But going through, we've had a few basketball games. We're just going to go through each of our highlights from the actual ball that's been playing at the moment. I'll start with you, Jermaine. What's been your highlight of the limited basketball action that we've had so far?
Well, to be honest, I haven't actually watched too many games in full. Just been watching some highlights, and obviously one of the players that have been all over social media at the moment is just Bobo.
Bobo.
Hype train.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm part of that hype train, but it's cool to see that he's
Yeah.
he's moving well. He's hitting that three ball.
He looks fluid.
He's just looking fluid. He's looking active. just playing good D. And,
some of those blocks that he's getting,
good
he's so long. Just the way he can test it, it's pretty impressive. Some people just think they have a nice open shot, and his wingspan just flying out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was impressive. Those 6 blocks and on that game a few days ago. Very impressive.
I think every time he got a block, I think the commentator was like 7'9" wingspan every single time.
They froth it, don't they?
They were frothing up the ball train.
He's definitely going to hype it up. And I think, what did they say their lineup was? Like Nikola Jokic at the center and Bol.
No, he was point guard.
Jokic at point guard.
Grant at shooting guard.
Yeah.
Mason Plumlee at small forward.
Yeah, they had a big lineup.
Jokic.
But surely that's not actually going to get any. That's not going to run into playoffs, will it? That's just they're just meshing some things.
I highly doubt Bol is really going to play any significant minutes in the playoffs.
Over under 10 minutes in the entire playoffs. What do you reckon?
Under.
Yeah. Under 10?
Under.
Yeah, I'll go over. I'm going to say
some junk time.
I'm going to say 15 minutes.
Fair enough. All right, Cal, what's been your biggest takeaway of the game so far?
Oh, look, I'm just excited to see NBA basketball again, boys. I'm happy. I just felt I'm actually feeling pretty positive of the whole setup as well.
Yep.
When you look at some other sports, it's just a bit depressing looking at all these empty stands. And I think the way they've done the whole setup, they're trying a few different things as well in the background. They'll get some kind of fake sounds from fans cheering, and they're trialing new things. But the overall kind of display of the game itself, I was pretty impressed with. So I think the NBA are doing a great job there. I'm just really excited.
So they've got I think it's NBA 2K crowd noises pretty much.
Is that what
I'm pretty sure I saw that it's actually from NBA 2K.
Cool.
They've got crowd noises like as a fake crowd. And I wanted to get you guys' opinion on that because I've been watching a bit of AFL here in Brizzy, Australia, and they do that on their broadcast. They've got sort of some fake crowd noises, and I think there's someone there pressing the buttons about when the crowd goes wild or something. Yeah. And you can. It was a bit weird at first, but I've actually come around on it. In terms of the AFL, it's actually works pretty well, and it almost after I think it's been about 8 rounds now. It sort of feels normal and feels natural. At first, it's a bit weird, but I think I actually prefer it in terms of not having that eerie kind of silence when someone makes a big shot or if like someone has a big dunk. There's just quiet. I think that would be a bit weird. So I'm okay as long as they don't go crazy and after every single small play the crowd goes nuts kind of thing.
I think it is so important just for the viewer's experience, just to be able to feel like they're watching an NBA game again.
Yeah.
It's I don't want it to be like a summer league. It's not bad or anything, or even preseason games. But you can still feel like the atmosphere isn't quite the same as a normal NBA game.
Especially in the playoffs.
Especially in the playoffs. Yeah. When you're watching that, even just watching on the TV, and you're seeing that crowd, or you can just hear them chanting like defense.
Yeah.
Or even just, all those little things, just you don't really notice it, but it adds to the experience. And if the NBA can somehow replicate it through, fake noises, or I don't know how else they can do it.
Yeah.
Because they have like fake cheerleaders on the.
Oh, do they really? Like visual sort of things?
Yeah, they have like big I don't know.
I don't know about that. That seems a bit corny to me.
they have to do something.
Yeah. What do you think, Cal?
I think it's definitely in a positive direction. I definitely think they will put some of the defense and simulate some of those noises. But when you look at it, it kind of reminds me of like a college game or in the gym of a high school game, and it could be interesting to see some of the players actually sitting in the stands itself and just zooming into their face when, I don't know, a big play happens.
Joel Embiid is just trolling on the free throw line.
Exactly. Yelling some chat to all the centers he dominates.
I wonder if they would actually be able to sit in those games. You reckon they'll be like
I don't think so. Surely not. I think they're being that strict that I think it'd be only people who are working the game, like media and that, they're allowed to be there.
That's a pity.
I wonder if the commentator is allowed to be there. Like, are they in the building or are they doing it remotely?
I believe. As well. I think they're in the bubble itself as well, so they have all the same quarantine measures, and they have to do the whole 3-month thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So they'll all be hearing Mike Breen's bang after someone hits a big shot.
I hope he is back.
I hope that's enough to hype up the players, instead of the crowd being there. one of my takeaways was I noticed that Becky Hammond was coaching the Spurs for a game, and I think they're actually rotating a few things on the Spurs side of things. And I just bring this up because what I took away from this is that it looks as though Pop is setting up sort of giving the keys to someone else for his retirement, basically, and sort of palming off the responsibilities of head coach to the next person in line, whether that be Becky Hammond or another one of their assistant coaches. And I thought that was interesting, and it's probably a good way to go about it. Really, like it's you think of the Spurs as being this model franchise. Yeah, it just sort of shows to me that it is from that head down, from Popovich down.
Pop's always been fairly progressive in his his ideas and always trying to kind of improve the quality across the NBA, and so I can see that as being a factor of why he would want
traditionally in NBA sort of circles, this isn't how they sort of do that. That's not really how they would move on from a coach. Normally they would, one coach would retire and they'd go out and hire someone completely different, like a Tom Thibodeau for the Knicks or something like that. But for the Spurs, like there's going to be some, if this is actually how they're going to do it, there's going to be some continuity going into next season, someone who's with the system, who's actually had first-hand experience as their head coach. And it would just be a way more seamless transition. And I think that even though it's not Popovich there, who, this will be a chat for another day, who I think is one of the greatest coaches of all time, there's still going to be not much of a misstep in terms of the system that they've implemented. So I thought that was pretty interesting to notice from these preseason sort of games.
I totally agree, and I'll just say that Becky, I think the Spurs are the perfect franchise to do it. And if you actually just look at the tree of assistant coaches that were under Popovich who became head coaches throughout his stand at the Spurs, just because obviously his reputation is so, as you said, Mitch, if not the best, but one of the best coaches of all time. So it's a different scenario because Becky's been working under him for so long. She's got the best mentor in the league, really. So I look forward to her being a head coach in this league.
Yeah, cool. So this is going to be our last podcast before we've got actual, real life, meaningful NBA basketball. I'm excited. It's coming, I think, here in Australia this Thursday at the end of the week. So before the actual action starts, I just wanted to discuss what are we most looking forward to and what are we going to be keeping our eye on in those 8 games before the playoffs start. Whether we're watching some form of a particular team, whether we're just excited to see a certain player come back and play, or anything else outside the box. So, Cal, I'll start off with you first. What are you looking forward to most in these first few games before the actual playoffs get started?
I'm looking forward to, firstly, I guess all of these body transformations is one thing I just wanted to see in action.
Skinny Jokic.
Yeah, skinny Jokic.
Skinny Harden.
Skinny Harden.
The skinification of
everyone
the NBA.
seems to be in incredible shape going into this bubble. Just because I feel like it's a good scenario how obviously usually in the off season people just go on holiday. But because the mentality this time it's like, hey guys, we're going to step straight up into the playoffs. Everyone's just working real hard. So I think everyone's going to step into it guns firing. So I'm super excited. As you said, Mitch, Jokic, I reckon this Nuggets team could be interesting because obviously skinny Jokic stepping in. And I just feel like that they could be a team that could probably go down in the rankings, jump up. It's all of that West. Yeah. It's just so wild in the West.
They're all pretty close.
You got about 5 teams that are all very, very similar records, and it's all just going to shift and change so quickly and easily. It's definitely going to be a very wild West for those 8 games. Especially, I think the biggest change would be the Trailblazers, who I'll touch on as well. The Trailblazers bring back in Zach Collins, who had a pretty bad injury earlier in the season. He's back now. You got Skinny Mello, another skinny case.
Skinny Mello. Apparently he shifted down to the small forward, I heard as well.
Yeah, look, he's a skinny frame now, man. He can play that small forward.
I'll believe that when I see it. Yeah. I still think his best position is power forward in this sort of NBA.
And that's the other thing. You have Nurkic coming back from injury too. So you have those 2 guys who originally would have been in the starting lineup. that are now back
And
from
Hassan
injury.
Whiteside as well.
Yeah, they're quite big actually when you break down their team. So yeah, a few players returning from injury. Jermaine, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the Oklahoma City.
Okay, so
Those guys they've been quite surprising. They're sitting, fifth in the West, which is a pretty big.
That
feat.
surprises me. Even when you say that right now,
Yeah.
that still surprises me that they're
West.
fifth in the West. Like they're close to getting home court.
They're tied. They're tied with the Rockets at the moment, and when I think a lot of people, including myself, wrote them off as
I did too. Yeah.
as even a playoff team. I mean, I thought maybe they would make the playoffs, maybe make it in that 8th seed, but I can see them with how they're gelling at the moment. I can see them making noise and just maybe even sneaking to that third. Honestly,
Yeah. Okay.
So third seed.
What I'm seeing from third seed, I reckon they could come up to that third seed.
Hot
Well,
take.
hot take here. Well, what's the difference at the moment? Hold on, let me just pull it up right here. But they've been playing well all season,
They've been playing well.
and I'm a really big Shai Gilgeous-Alexander fan.
Exactly.
I'm a big fan of him, and I think he's a very talented young player. So, but the OKC, they're what are they? Third seed. They're 3 games behind the Nuggets, who are currently in the third seed. So, I suppose it is doable if the skinny Jokic thing doesn't work out. And
I
those
was
teams drop
watching
off.
the Nuggets game. I was looking at a few stats and just kind of reviewing that game, and that was a pretty messy game from the Nuggets. They had 25 turnovers. Jokic had 8. I mean, it's only one game.
It's the first
game. Yeah, a lot of rust. But they were obviously experimenting with their big lineup. But I mean,
Yeah, I think I don't know. The Denver Nuggets is a team that requires a lot of continuity. I think they play very fast and free, so there may be a bit of room for them to sort of fall off. But I don't know. I can't say I can get behind you. You take the Oklahoma City.
CP3 is looking. He's been looking pretty healthy these days.
Oh,
when he's healthy.
To throw back to our last episode, he's a player that could definitely benefit from this break. So given that could be a good thing for him.
If you look into the advanced stat of that lineup, that small ball lineup the OKC put through with Shea, CP, and they put Schroeder in there. It's actually been because that's usually their closing lineup as well, and it's been winning them a lot of games. And it is because of CP3 can guard 1 through 3. And he's just been killing it this season. So, yeah, look, that's a good pick.
Cool. Yeah, I can't say I agree.
I'm just saying they could make some noise.
I'm not picking them for 3.
Shuffle the seed. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying that there's a potential for them to be 3.
Fair enough.
You got to hit first.
What I'm looking for, and this is going to be the homer pick of the day, I'm going to be looking forward to watch my Boston Celtics. And in particular, if they can get to that number 2 seed. Because to me, that number 2 seed in the East is like gold.
Yeah.
If we get to that number 2 seed versus the Brooklyn Nets with no Irving, no Durant, I don't think DeAndre Jordan's even playing.
Probably
they're,
not, no.
they're a bit of a shell of themselves, and I think that would be a good way for us to sort of warm up into the playoffs. Even we're coming off 8 games, we probably need more practice under our belts. There's plenty of room for upsets in that first round if teams are not firing on full cylinders, and I don't want to be versing the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round.
All the Pacers or the Heat, wherever they're...
I'll take the Pacers, but the Heat and the Sixers, I want to escape. So as a Celtics fan, I really want us to catch those Raptors and see if we can move up to number 2, and just so we can get that easy first round, and then just get a little bit of experience under our belt before we start versing those teams that are a bit of a matchup problem for us.
Because as we were saying, 8 games is not much.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot of games to get a lot of reps under your belt, and it'll be interesting to see who can pick up and run with it the fastest. So a bit of a homer pick there. All right, so we're going to move on now. Now this will be the big discussion of the day. Now, we're going to be going through... first of all, before we go into our personal list, there was a list coming out from Bleacher Report, I think it was a few weeks ago, basically going through their top 100 players and in more depth their top 50 players in the NBA currently right now. I just want to say one thing. Chris Middleton was number 10 on that list.
Actually?
Legit.
What?
Chris Middleton was number 10 according to the Bleacher Report.
That was my shot
10.
as well, Jermaine. Absolutely overrated.
Okay.
What the actual fuck?
I'm annoyed that I'm annoyed right now, because that's exactly what they want.
I mean, he's having a great season, but come on,
Yeah.
he's
number
he's
10.
He's a
I was
great
surprised he made
complementary
the
player.
All-Star game. I was surprised he made the All-Star game. He wouldn't make the All-Star game in the West.
Yeah.
If he was playing in the West, he would not make the All-Star team. And there's 12 players right there.
He had a good season last season and the year before.
He's taken a step back this year.
Probably still the same player, but I mean...
Oh, he's more
number
efficient, though.
10.
He's pretty much
Yeah,
in a
that's what I'm
50-40,
saying.
90 club.
I want to read out the players that Chris Middleton was ahead of on this list. Just to really get your juices flowing, Jermaine. He was ahead of Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell, Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal. Like, do I need to go on? Like,
Siakam,
all
Paul
those
George.
players. Siakam, Paul George,
What the-
Tatum.
Gobert.
Like,
Yeah.
how the hell has this happened? Who was in charge of this list? And are they fired right
This
now?
is all just the media. This is all anything to create a headline.
Well, if they
get
run-
us talking over this
Yeah, well, it
great
works.
podcast. Exactly. I'm annoyed that I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
I don't want to be brought into that. But yeah,
Anyway,
that's
I
the
couldn't let that slide because that was the inspiration for this sort of list ahead. But come on,
Yeah,
come on, Bleacher
that's a
Report.
joke.
Let's pull your heads
And
in.
look, that sets the
Um,
tone as well, because there was a lot of very terrible picks throughout that whole Bleacher Report top 100. So that really set the tone.
Yeah, I think that was just my highlight for me, and I think that it basically just sums up what they're thinking over there at Bleacher Report. But now we're going to go into our top. We've decided to go top 15 in the list, and the way we're gonna go through our bottom 5, so 15 through 11 first, and we're going to be revealing the players sort of one at a time. And if, for example, I reveal my number 10 and Jermaine, it's your number 6, we're going to save that discussion until we get to the higher placed position, and we'll just sort of discuss where we think these players are in the current NBA climate. Just a quick asterisk off the top, we are not including any players who were injured going into the end of the season. So straight off the bat, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving weren't considered for these lists. They're probably the main two. So in case you're wondering, where's Kevin Durant? He should be number 1. We're not including him because he's injured, hasn't played all season. So we're taking him out.
And he said he's not playing this season either. We're with Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's bitching it. So we're just going to be off the bat not including him. But basically, apart from those two, everyone else is fair game. Steph Curry will be in our list somewhere. Sort of decided that he played enough throughout the season.
Is he top 15?
He was healthy by the end of the season.
He was healthy by the end of the season, and we had enough sort of footage to look at to see and assess. We know what Steph Curry is, and we know that he's still the player that
And
we all know.
he
him to
would be playing if the Warriors were in
That's
the-
right.
in-
That's right. If they were there, that he would be playing, no doubt. Okay, so why don't we go, Jermaine? Let's give. I want you to run through your 15 through 11.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to go through these first 5 pretty quickly and discuss. If it is in our top 10, we'll save the discussion for then.
All right. Well, starting from 15, I've got
Yep.
Bradley Beal.
Bradley Beal.
Bradley
Okay.
Beal. Snub of the All-Star game.
Let's just run through your first 4, and then we'll chat to some ones that.
15, Bradley Beal.
Yep.
14, Ben Simmons.
Interesting.
13, Rudy Gobert. 12, Jimmy Butler. And 11, Russell Westbrook.
Wow. Okay.
Now, that was
a good
tough,
list.
and I know there's a lot of that could be up for discussion.
Okay.
But those are my top.
Say them again. I'll tell you the ones that I don't have.
So
first.
Bradley Beal, 15.
Yep.
Ben Simmons, 14. Rudy Gobert, 13. Jimmy Butler, 12. And Russell Westbrook, 11.
Okay, I had 3 of those 5. I didn't have Russell Westbrook,
Yeah.
and I didn't have Ben Simmons. Those are the 2.
I didn't have
the
3.
other 3.
I didn't have Rudy Gobert either. I only hit 2 of those 5, Jermaine.
Okay, I had Rudy Gobert at 15. So, why don't we start there? Rudy Gobert. I think. Well, first of all, he's the best defensive player in the league,
And, yeah, by far. I think.
and the best player on the Utah Jazz.
Best player in Utah Jazz.
And I think criminally underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's only had like 1 All-Star game appearance, or
Was this
has he
year?
even had?
maybe 2.
No, this year was his first year, I thought.
Yeah, it was his first year this
Yeah.
year, which surprised me. I think he should have got the last few years, especially when he was winning Defensive Player of the Year. But I think when it comes to a difference maker on the defensive end, you can't name anyone better. Not only are like his blocks like crazy high, but just the amount of shots that he changes, and also on the offensive end, he's underrated. I'm pretty sure he averages like 17 points a game, and an efficient 17 points a game. So just like a rock for that Utah team. So
Yeah, and
I think he's worthy of top 15.
that presence that he has on defense is actually just incredible. And seeing the playoffs as well, especially.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah, year after year, that man, he's just so reliable on defense.
Yeah.
I feel like there was that one game in the FIBA Olympics when in the quarterfinals, the France knocked out the USA, and that was literally just because Rudy Gobert literally just dominated the court, and he looked like the best player out there.
Yeah. So I had him at 15. Callum, you didn't have him in your top 15. Any reason why? You just think he's not?
I mean, I considered him.
Enough on offense?
I found the 11 to 15 really hard, and I definitely considered him. I threw him in at one point and then took him out for someone else. So look, I'm not going to hate on the pick. It's a great pick. Rudy, he should be up there. Really, he's the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So the other one I didn't have was Russell Westbrook. Cal, did you have Russell Westbrook in your 15?
I did have Russell Westbrook. I had him at my 15. Just sliding in
so
there.
You had him just
I almost put
there.
Rudy above him, but I went with Russell Westbrook just because, look, the man, he's still balling. He's averaging some big stats this season again. He's with the Rockets. It's just hard to knock him. I think right now as well.
Oh, I can knock him. I can knock him.
A lot of people can knock him. I feel like previously
well.
he's never really been in a team that has perfectly kind of balanced what he brings to the table. And the Houston Rockets, all of them can shoot, and it literally just allows him to get into the paint, and that's what he's the best at doing. His stats in the paint is some of the best in the league this season, and he's putting up 27.5 points a game.
I'll give him this. I think this year with the Houston Rockets has been the best I've seen him play.
It's a perfect fit for his play style.
And I think they've utilized his skill set the best. And I think credit to Russell Westbrook, he's actually come out and made a shift in his game. Mm-hmm. He's attacking the rim a lot more. He's settling less for those like pull up threes and taking dumb shots, which he used to do a lot back at OKC. And on a team that actually has finals championship aspirations, I think he is a bit more locked in. But the reason I can't have him there is I've got a few reasons. One, his boneheaded plays at the end of games, and I think he's not aware of himself. Skill wise and athleticism wise, of course, he's one of the best players in the NBA. But that's not what separates yourself into this top 15 list. I think your IQ, your basketball IQ, needs to be taken into consideration. And I just don't think Russell Westbrook has that, and he has never shown that in any part of his career.
Doesn't it? I don't know about that. He doesn't have basketball IQ. I mean, the man put up double-digit assists for. He's just ruthless.
Okay.
Like, he was just attacking the rim.
Assist.
I agree with you, Mitch. Even though he is on by 11 to 15.
Don't get me started on him averaging a triple-double. I swear to God, if the media frosts him averaging a triple-double one more time, I'm going to lose it.
For me,
it's hard to get the
assist
assist, though.
Stats at the moment. Yeah.
It's not hard when you've got the ball in your hand for the first 22 seconds, and then you throw the ball out in the last 2 seconds, and someone has to shoot it. You can do that 10 times a game, and that the ball will go in. Granted, I'm not saying he's a terrible player. Yeah. I just don't think that he distinguishes himself as like a top 15. Barely top 20 player in my opinion.
Barely top 20,
which is still, I mean,
I still think his talent alone, athleticism wise, his IQ doesn't quite get there with the rest of the group.
Yep.
But I think his talent alone still, for me,
I considered him. But I just think, I think there's some players for me that are just. I would rather, if I'm selecting all these players to build my team.
Yeah.
I would choose 15 other guys before I start to choose Russell Westbrook in terms of someone who I want to be the cornerstone of my team for this year.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Rudy Gobert on my team than Russell Westbrook. Was basically my logic.
All right.
And that's how I've done my list. Callum, let's run through your 15 through 11.
All right. So I had Westbrook at the 15, as I mentioned. I then had Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum. Jimmy Butler.
Oh, I like to hear that. I like to hear that, Cal.
And then PG just on that 11 spot.
Paul George. Okay. I like to hear that you've got Jason Tatum, one of my Celtics, in there, which is funny because I actually didn't have him in my top 15.
That's interesting.
He wasn't there for me.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
He has been on a tear, man. He has been killing it. I feel like the last month of this season, he was really proving himself.
Maybe I'm like just not wanting to put all my money on him in case he disappoints me in the playoffs. Fizzles out. But yeah, I can see him being there. But as of right now, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But
This was his last 8 games of the season. 32, 33, 36, 41, 28, 39, and then 15. He was killing.
That's pretty impressive.
He was hot. Impressive. He was heating up. And not only that, but he was also, and this is one of the reasons I put him in there, is he was making some big defensive plays. He was locking people down. And that's what kind of put him in my books over the edge, because he can be a bit more of that lockdown defender now, as well as a go-to scorer, and can get you a bucket at any point in the game.
Well, yeah. I'm liking what you're saying, Callum. I'm liking what you're saying.
He's definitely got that high ceiling in terms of things he can do on the court,
yeah.
On both sides as well. And I can respect that that decision to put him in top 15. Although I do think it's a little premature, but
I think that's the word, premature. Like, I think he's definitely going to be there, and like sure. I said, I think he's probably, for me, around that 16, 17 kind of range, in terms of like. Now, I wouldn't trade him for a lot of these players on there, but that's taken into account his age. If I had him for one season or just these playoffs, again, that's the way I'm sort of like looking at this. I'd probably rather have him.
He is good. I mean, what's he only like 22 or something like that? 21, maybe. I
think the others we were all in agree with. The only other one that you had that neither of Jermaine and I had was Donovan Mitchell. I didn't have him in my top 15.
Oh, really?
He's probably,
man. That's something
to me, I probably actually
well.
have him a fair bit down, actually.
If you look on Bleacher Report, they have him at 32, which I think is so stupid.
Yeah,
the person at 31, 31 was Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Like, are you?
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I don't think he probably wouldn't be in the top 20 for me. Maybe just outside there. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but
I mean, I put Mitchell. I put Mitchell, and I didn't put Rudy in. So I guess people can go.
So
back
you think Donovan Mitchell's Donovan Mitchell's the Utah's best player?
I think he is. 24, 4-4 every game.
Yeah, okay.
Fair enough.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I just think that the 7 extra points that he scores per game inefficiently over Rudy Gobert isn't enough to sort of outweigh what Rudy Gobert brings on the defensive end. I think, if someone told you that Donovan Mitchell only scored 7 more points a game than Rudy Gobert, that you'd probably be surprised by that, but it's legit, and Rudy does it way more efficiently. And I know Donovan's obviously setting up the offense a little bit more, but there are a lot of playmakers on that team. So Mike Conley, even Jingles is a good playmaker. So I think he's probably just not as important to that team as Gobert, but fun player to watch. And definitely,
he's definitely their, he'd be their closer, their go-to guy at the end of the game. So
and that's the point. Yeah, so. It's how much you value that closing factor versus the
nice spicy pick.
I rate that. That's why I put him above Rudy, because he's the person who's going to, at the end of the day, he's going to be the one who wins in that game in the clutch.
Cool. So my 15 through 11, I've got Rudy Gobert at 15. I had Jimmy Butler at 14.
Jimmy.
Karl Anthony Towns at 13. I had Bradley Beal at 12. And I had Paul George, same as you, Cal, at 11.
What are you doing with Karl Anthony Towns? I'm sorry, but I didn't even consider him. I'm sorry, but he's year after year.
As in you guys got him higher?
No. Year after year, he has just put up stats on a losing team, and he's just proven to do that. Yeah. So the 1 year he made the playoffs was literally when Jimmy Buckets was there, and they won they were on a really good record about 32 and 15, and that's when Jimmy went down. And then they slid all the way down to the 8th seed because they kept losing more games with Karl Anthony Towns. So I don't really rate him. He's one of those big stats, bad team kind of people.
Yeah, look, I'm going to have to disagree there.
Same with Devin. I think Devin Booker's just as good as Karl Anthony Towns, personally.
Well, I think Devin Booker's probably a little bit more one note than Karl Anthony Towns. I think Karl Anthony Towns has got a bit more of a complete game, and I think, look, and this is why he's at 13, not in the top 10 for me. He's talent-wise, he's one of the best in the league. You can't really argue that. He's one of the best big men in the league. He is an excellent passer. He's a great shooter for a big guy. He's got a lot of different moves. Great defender. I won't say great defender. I'll say.
Let's cut that out.
Yeah. I'll back up it. He's an okay defender. He's serviceable.
If you're playing a 7-game series right now and you have to pick between Westbrook and Karl Anthony Towns, who are you going to pick?
I'm picking
Westbrook. I'm picking
Westbrook.
Come on.
As well. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I like the versatility that he brings, and I like the matchup that the matchup nightmare he can bring to an opposition team.
Yeah.
And I think in fairness to Cat, he's had some awful coaches. He's honestly had some really bad coaches coaching his team and not utilizing.
You're going to take down Tom Thibodeau again, man.
I am. I'm doubling down. I'm doubling down on the Tom Thibodeau hate this pod. But yeah, I just don't think that Minnesota's gotten the best out of Karl Towns.
Yeah.
But I will admit that his attitude and his sort of competitive fire is pretty lacking.
Yeah,
So.
And that's a big point for me. You kind of he's on a losing team most of the time. But I mean he's been in the league for 4 or 5 years now. You expect some sort of maturity, or you still expect some leadership from him, and but I haven't quite seen that from him just yet. And that's kind of why for me I wouldn't even consider him in the top 20, honestly. But talent wise, I've seen him, crossover, guards and stuff like that.
That's right.
Full court and incredible stuff.
Did you put Jimmy Butler behind Karl Towns?
I did actually, yeah. I'm a bit unders on Jimmy.
I hope Jimmy's not listening to this podcast, man.
I just think that Jimmy gets hyped up because of his. Yeah. Oh, don't even start with that. Don't even start with that. But I think Jimmy gets hyped up in the media because he's like this tough guy, and he's just
he always wins every team. Old school ballers love him.
That man is.
He also joins good teams, Cal. Like he plays for good teams. And obviously they're going to do better with Jimmy on the team than when he's not there. He's a good player. But I just think he's not as good at creating his own shot. His defense is good, but it's overrated, I think. He's like one of those intensity guys that you think because he's so intense that he's good at defense
he's
when
dropped
the
off
numbers
the past
don't support
that. That's true.
Yeah, so I think, I like Jimmy and I like him, but I think he's just one of those kind of overhyped kind of guys. But he's fun to watch.
He's putting up career highs and rebounds and assists this year.
Got some hate on that one. All right, let's go into our top 10. Okay, so we're going to go around at our 10. If we've got someone much higher on our list, we're going to save it for when we get there, the discussion when we get there. So Jermaine, let's start off with your number 10.
So for number 10 for me, I've got Paul George.
Okay, so
and that's what we had him at 11.
We had him at 11, yeah. So I think we're all pretty much in agreement there. He's top 10-ish sort of player.
Yeah. We've seen him lead teams, but not quite get that far. He's gone to Eastern Conference Finals a few times.
Back in the Pacer days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But at the moment, in terms of the guys ahead of him,
I feel like injuries have slowed him down a little bit this year. Like last year, he was top 3 Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and I think that was, to me, his peak.
Yeah, last year he had a huge season.
He had a big year.
Yeah.
I think he's taken a bit of a step back here. And if I was ranking him on last year's form, I would have him a bit higher. Mm-hmm. But I think still trying to learn how to gel with Kawhi and injuries, I think are the two biggest things that have sort of bumped him just towards the bottom of the...
Yeah, he really hasn't played too many games as well this season as
well.
So that's kind of... I would have him a little bit high, honestly, but because of this season and how he hasn't played too much, I've just put him at 10.
I think that's fair. I think we're all in agreement there. So, Carl, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is Nikola Jokic.
My number 10 too. That's the same one. So our 10 11 are the same here, Cal. Look at this.
Yeah, well, I've got him at...
Have you got him higher? Okay, we'll discuss him a bit later then. Yeah. So not 9? Not your number 9?
He is number 9.
Oh, he's number 9? Okay, well, we'll discuss it now then. That's all good.
I know, we'll jump in there. What's your 9, Mitch? And we'll make a bit of a case for the number 9 spot.
Okay, my number 9 is Joel Embiid.
I had Dame Lillard at my number 9.
I've got Dillard. I've got a little bit higher, so we'll discuss him a bit later, I think. But I think go with the two big guys, Jokic and Embiid, I think if I'm just picking the two, I'm definitely taking Embiid like 10 times out of 10. One, for his scoring potential, and I think you'll notice in my list, the scoring is just a premium in the NBA. A player who's able to get their own shot. And as a big man, that's quite rare to do. Yeah. And I think that's just what is the most valuable part of a player. Yeah. So I think he's got the scoring edge over Jokic, and he's also got the defensive edge over Jokic in terms of being that brick wall at the back of the defense there and preventing people from getting to the basket. He's much more athletic, much more mobile, won't get caught out in other teams trying to isolate him off pick and rolls. I think that's a weakness in Jokic, and I think we'll see it get exploited in the playoffs. Yeah. A lot of players will set pick and rolls and get the point guards trying to go one-on-one with Jokic. And I think that's just probably going to let him down. Where I think Embiid can hold his own a bit better there.
Well, one of the criteria I look when I was making this list is if I'm playing a 7-game series, who am I going to pick over each other? And when you look at it, especially since you had the likes of Kawhi, LeBron, Giannis, those big bodies attacking the rim, I think having Big Joel Embiid back there, defensive-minded talent is a big asset, and that's why I pick him over Jokic as well.
Yeah, so I had him at 9. You guys haven't set him yet, so you guys might have him higher then.
I have him a little bit higher.
You got him a bit higher?
I got him a bit higher too.
Okay, cool. So we're all in agreement that Embiid over Jokic.
Yeah.
I'll just say Embiid was my number 7. So I'd break down my 8 before it was Lillard, and Embiid was my 7. But we'll keep going.
Okay. All right, cool. So, yeah, I've still got Lillard higher. So he's a bit higher for me. So I haven't done my 8. You've done your 8.
I haven't done my 8.
Oh, what's your number 8, Jermaine?
My 8 is Sam Scarlett and Damian Lillard.
Dame Lillard?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll reveal my Lillard. I had Lillard at 7. I had him just one spot higher.
Yeah.
And I'm interested, because you guys have not said a name that I have going to say my 8. I'm interested to see your take on this. But Lillard, I used to be a bit down on Lillard, but he's really won me over the last couple of years.
No, it's the same thing what we were saying last podcast about how he's, kind of proven year after year that playoff success and
he keeps improving.
Extended that range. Yeah.
He's special, man. I get the killer kind of mentality from Damian Lillard, and just like that steps up in big game moments.
Yeah.
And his range, his range has improved every single year. He is nearly on par with Steph Curry in terms of 3-point range.
He's comfortably shooting 40-footers near the logo all the time. So,
and he's got the athleticism that Steph Curry doesn't have.
Yeah,
so.
That's a big thing. And I guess the only reason why we don't put it high as maybe defensively is hasn't ever really had that. So that's kind of capped his potential, really.
I think it's hard also to put point guards really high.
Yeah.
Just I think
especially small point guards.
Small point guards.
Yeah.
I think there's only so much they can do. They're always going to be exposed when they need to guard the bigger guys like LeBron and Kawhi and all those sort of things on pick and roll matchups. And the way that the league is heading, it's hard to have as much of an impact on a game as some of those bigger players. But yeah. So that was your 8, Cal.
Yeah, my 8 was Dame as well. So.
Okay, well, my 8, and I think you guys, this might be your 7, or if he's not, then I'll be a bit surprised. But my 8 was Luka Doncic.
Oh, come on.
Oh, what?
Luka Doncic.
Can I say I have him higher? I have him higher.
Oh, no.
I have him higher.
You have him higher?
Yeah.
Oh, so Jermaine, he's not even in your list.
He's not even in my top 15.
What?
No way.
Have you been watching NBA basketball, bro?
I have been watching NBA, and I'm not going to be bored into
You didn't
this
even have him in your top 15.
1 year hype.
Okay, let me just say this.
What?
Okay. For anyone to be in a top 15 of the world basketball player,
Luka is there.
Talent-wise, he is there this season.
Yeah.
But for this, these guys have done it for multiple years. Year in, year out.
Come on.
Won championships.
He's been a pro for years.
Don't give me that.
He hasn't even been in the playoffs yet.
He's in the playoffs
I don't
now.
care.
He is now.
You know he's got that killer mentality. You can see it in games. He's putting up...
Oh
I'm going to read out his stats right now. He's putting up 28.7, 9.3 rebounds, 8.7 assists. And he's leading the best offense ever. This is the best offensive.
Yeah, they're the number one offense in the league.
And he's leading them into the playoffs as well.
Well done.
Wow. Okay. So, well, I think
top 15, Jermaine.
No, he's
I
out.
think for me, Luka has proven enough. Where you're saying that he's not experienced enough, to me that's that next tier, and that's why
top 5 of the league.
that's why I've got someone like a Damian Lillard over Luka Doncic by 1 spot.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at them side by side, Luka's got the ball handling, he's got the range, he's got the athleticism, sort of that Damian Lillard had. He's a bigger body, which is what I was saying before. He's got that ability to go to that next level, but he is on par with the players like a Paul George, with the players like Bradley Beal, and he just has that extra level of ball creating, ball handling, and ability to just run an offense, which I think those other guys below don't have. And the big shots how many times have we seen Luka Doncic win a game on a step back jump shot?
Game winners.
His vision as well. When you look at some of the passes that that kid is making.
Yeah.
It is so impressive. He's getting his whole team involved.
You're a hater, Jermaine. You're a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm just
He
being
makes his
brash.
team better.
No, you're a hater, bro.
Nah. Hey, after the season, when he's, let's say he gets through a few rounds, I've seen him, being tested in the playoffs. See how he deals with adversity. See how he brings the team together, or how he responds. That's kind of where I put these.
Can
I've
you
seen
please
these
just
guys ahead
run
of
me
him.
through your 14th and 15th pick again, Jermaine? The fact that you put those over Doncic.
Ben Simmons and Bradley Beal.
Oh, come on.
Oh, Ben Simmons. Oh no. Oh man, I can't get behind that. So where did you have him, Cal? Where did you have him?
I had him at the 7th spot.
Yeah. Okay. So you and I just had Luka and Lillard flipped.
Yeah.
And that's why I just think Lillard's proven a bit more. I think he's a bit more clutch and probably more efficient than Luka. His especially in terms of like turnovers and things like that. I think Luka's still probably making a few more mistakes than Damian Lillard is, and I think that will get exposed in the playoffs, but it's not by much. And the argument on Doncic's side, I guess, is the size. He's a bigger player, and I think has that more switchability kind of thing, which is so important in the NBA today.
That step back is unguardable as well. You can't guard that step back. The amount of
Yeah,
distance he creates. He's so shifty as well. Like, he'll just kind of lure people in. He reminds me a lot of kind of James Harden. But the passes that kid makes, it's phenomenal.
Oh, I saw this beautiful pass. He passed out to Steph Curry in one of these preseason games. It was a no-look in the air.
He does so many no-looks. Like, all of them are no-looks, man. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, he's a playmaker.
Okay, so we've all done our top 7 now. So we're now into the top 6. Jermaine, you've done all your top?
Top 7.
Okay,
my 7 was Joel Embiid,
Okay, yep.
but for the same reasons. That
Yeah, that's
big
cool.
man who can score.
So I think we've all got the same players in the top 6, unless we've got any wild surprises here. What's your number 6, Jermaine?
I've got James Harden.
James
At
Harden
6.
at 6. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Callum,
I had
who's
a little
your-
bit higher. I had AD at that spot for myself, Anthony Davis.
Okay, I did too, and I'll say it now. I've got James Harden at 5, one spot ahead of
So do
Davis.
I did the same as you, Mitch.
Okay, yeah. So I think the argument here that you're going to throw at us is defense over offense.
Yes, that is something. But
Yeah.
I mean, for me,
So if you're picking a team from scratch and you had to pick one of these players, you would pick Anthony Davis over James Harden?
I would pick Anthony Davis. Yeah.
Okay.
And for me, yes, Harden, unguardable one-on-one player. But for me, you have to build that team exactly how he wants it. You need to have shooters around him, which they've obviously done, with in Houston. But for me, watching him dribble, as Charles Barkley would say,
It's not the most pretty basketball, obviously, but I
It's
feel
really
like he
not.
raises your floor more than Anthony Davis does, personally.
I agree with that, and we've seen examples of that. We've seen examples of Anthony Davis being the best player on his team and James Harden being the best player on his team, and we can see how far those teams have gone.
Yeah.
Granted, it was earlier in Anthony Davis's team, but he was there for 7 years. He was in New Orleans for 7 years. We gave him a good chance, and I know the team wasn't created as well. But if you look at the Houston Rockets, they're starting power forward. Like say all you want, but they don't have good players outside of him and Russ. They got rid of Capella, who was, in my opinion, was their 3rd best player. Covington, he's okay, but they're not an all-star team. They're not very deep, and he's taken them year after year to the playoffs. And say what you will about his playoff form, which is probably why he's not higher on this list. I think his offense just can't be denied. And I think that the name of the game in the NBA today is to get the ball in the basket and to score.
Yeah.
And there's just no one better than James Harden.
And I agree on that point. He's only he's number 6 and Anthony Davis is my 5, so it is an interchangeable thing. But yeah, it's just I think the system is fitted perfectly, and that's what I think. Anthony Davis is a bit more versatile. You can kind of put players around him.
But Anthony Davis, I would argue that you need a good playmaker. To pair with Anthony Davis, you need shooters around him so he doesn't get the lane clogged up as well. It's the same sort of formula for every team at the moment. So I would say that Anthony Davis is not the kind of player that you can just put in anywhere and any situation will sort of work. Like I think some of these top guys that we're going to start to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the ceiling's just better with James. That's why I pick him. In a 7-game series, I go with him right now. You look at his 2017-18 season with Houston, they got 65 wins. And I know they had CP, but man, that was a good team. They went to the conference finals and they went head-to-head with probably one of the best teams of all time in that Golden State team. So I haven't seen AD ever go to that level in terms of regular season and also playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, number 4. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say we all have the same number 4. I've got no.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Well, my number 4 is Steph Curry.
I got Steph Curry.
You got Steph Curry too,
I
Cal?
got Steph Curry. I agree.
No, I think I'm going to hot take.
Jermaine's going to shock the world with this pick. Who have you got number 4?
I've got Giannis at number 4.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay, well, I have Giannis. I have Giannis at so you have him at 4, do you? Interesting.
I've got him at 4. Yeah.
Wow.
I've got him at 3. I've got him at 3. So
I've got him higher.
Do you have him higher than that? Should we do a bit of a?
Yeah.
Where do you have? Should we do a bit of a Curry versus Giannis debate?
I just want to talk about.
We can
Let's just
go
talk about
together.
Steph at the moment.
Yeah, because
I wanted to have
Yeah, okay.
I want to have a Giannis someone else debate.
Yeah.
But
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Well, Steph, okay, I lock him in at 4. I think that was an easy pick, to be honest.
yeah, I think he fits right in there. For me, I think there's a clear top 3 in the NBA, and they're all sort of these small forward players. And I think Steph Curry, the thing that limits him literally is just his size. I think he's the best player that he can be at his 6'3" size and frame. The only thing that you could argue is if he had the athleticism of Westbrook, but even then...
He doesn't need it, though. He's so crafty.
He's so crafty, and he's an
still
amazing
such a good
offensive
scorer.
player. He's literally changed the NBA. He's changed the way that teams guard players. But I just think right now that the league has caught up to him a little bit, which is why I haven't got him in my top 3, because they've sort of figured out this switching sort of thing, putting a bigger player on him works a bit more. And he also gets exposed on the other end in terms of putting him in pick and rolls. He does all right, mind you. Like, people sort of pick on him for his defense. He actually does
He holds
okay.
his ground,
He holds his ground better than people would normally think, like better than someone like a Lillard or a Westbrook, for example. But I still think it's enough to get him out of that upper echelon of the top 3.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Give me some. Why do you think he's
I've got Curry at 3. So
Yeah.
just one
above Giannis?
one above Giannis. And for me, the things that we saw throughout his MVP years, man, and he's still the same player.
I think so, yeah. I think he's the same player. I think the league has caught up to him. Is my thing.
And even if the league has caught up, and as we're talking about Damian, catching up to that kind of skill set and level of play as Curry, I still think in terms of playmaking, yes, he's a great shooter, but man, he's still on another level of playmaking as well.
His ball handling is out of this
ball
world.
handling is insane. His range, like as soon as he steps on the court, he instantly makes people better players. Just that court just comes a little bit bigger for those, guys. I mean, there's slashers, wings, shooters. Everyone has a bit more space to make plays. So, and he's just so smart as well. We've seen him just year after year, just kind of in the playoffs. I think having KD as a teammate for the last few years kind of took the attention off him, and without KD, I think they would have won it anyway. Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't put past him for sure.
He would have probably got the MVPs, final with MVPs, and they just happened to have Kevin Durant there. He was a beneficiary of playing with Steph Curry.
Fuck, that team was stacked.
I think one of the biggest knock to Steph's career could even just be playing with, in terms of his averages. Obviously, playing with having to share the ball with Durant, because before Durant came over, that season, his second MVP season, was absolutely crazy.
It was bananas.
30 points a game, 50, 45 from 3, 90% from the free throw line. Like, just so
and that
45%
from 3 can't be oversaid enough, because he was shooting like I'm shooting at the stats there.
He was shooting 11.2
he
a game that season. 11.2 a game, shooting 45%.
and they won't spot up threes. Like
They were
that
tough.
just can't be overstated enough. So historically, I would put him, at their peak, I would put Curry over a lot of these players ahead of him. But I think just right now, say I was going into these playoffs, I would pick the 3 players that I've got ahead of him over Steph Curry, which is why I've got him at 4. So I want to talk about this next guy because I know you guys have both got Giannis at 4 and 3. My number 3 is, and you guys might have this guy even at number 1. I could definitely see an argument for this, but I've got Kawhi Leonard at number 3.
Interesting. Well, so at this point, I guess all of our top 3 are
We've obviously got LeBron, Giannis, and Kawhi, basically interchangeable. So why don't we just break down these 3 players in one hit? How about Jermaine? So you've got Giannis at 4. Who are your 2 and 1?
2 is Kawhi.
Yep.
And then 1 is LeBron.
You've still got LeBron James. Yeah.
Interesting. I have
Callum?
my number 1. My number 1, I put Kawhi Leonard,
Really?
and then I went LeBron
Okay.
at number 2, and then Giannis number 3. That's how I broke it down.
Okay, so I've got Kawhi 3, and I had Giannis 2, and I've got LeBron 1, and I think I can go either way. I was flip flopping on these 3.
Yeah.
I had initially when I was first writing it down, I just had Giannis at number 1, but then I just think in terms of I did just based on his freakish ability and his statistics. If you just look at statistics, it's crazy. But I think his limitation is his jump shot, and the way that you need to play the basketball, like this NBA these days, is that you need to have a jump shot to be a threat. And I think Giannis can be guarded by putting someone big and mobile on him. We saw even just last year when the Celtics put Al Horford on him, he eventually figured it out, but it was enough for me to think that he wasn't, LeBron James has that, he plays chess, do you know what I mean? Like he can work it out in the game and sort of exploit those matchups, whereas I don't think Giannis has quite got there yet. And he could easily come out and prove me wrong this playoff and just say, fuck you guys, I'm the greatest player, and just take the lead by the horns and just completely dominate. But I think, I have him over Kawhi though. So why do you guys both have Kawhi over Giannis? What's your reasoning there?
Okay, well, I'll jump in, and I'll just say the playoffs last year, I thought the general consensus was Kawhi dominated Giannis. Like he gave it to him. That matchup was awesome. Giannis took the first 2, and then the Toronto Raptors just won 4 in a row. And
that's a good point. Yeah,
just steamrolled them.
And to be honest, and this is why I have Kawhi at my number 1 spot, is because last year at the end of the playoffs, everyone agreed Kawhi is the best player in the world. He's taken the belt. That's why I've got him there.
Well, hold on. You just say everyone agreed. We are all here saying
anyone
that we don't
with
agree.
some kind of good basketball knowledge would agree. And
Sure, okay.
I'll just remind you that you're the only one that's got a number 1 here.
I mean, look, LeBron's looking awesome. He's the king. But right now, I think Kawhi's got the throne. His stats last season. I'll put up his playoffs per game. Actually, no, we'll do that Eastern Conference. So I got the stats for that Eastern Conference round. Kawhi versus Giannis, and Kawhi's putting up 39 for 2.2 steals, 1 block.
That's pretty fucking good, man.
Giannis is putting up 7 less points, and he's only shooting 45% from the field. Usually Giannis shoots like 55 or something. Like a 10% decrease in field goal purely because I think
if you look at anyone's playoff percentages versus regular season percentages, they will drop down. Like I'm pretty sure LeBron's percentages drops by maybe not 10%, but a fair bit. Just because teams are able to hone in on the best player and come up with schemes to defend them. So I don't knock Giannis too much for that, and I don't give Kawhi too much credit for being the sole reason that he was, not.
I saw them. They went at it, and Kawhi won the battle in my mind, and that's why I've got him above. Yeah. I think he took the throne last year. I would not be at all surprised if LeBron comes in and wins it all, and then changes my opinion. And same with Giannis, to be honest. But right now, I'm giving it to Kawhi. He's on top.
Okay. I'm gonna give a reason why LeBron should be the number 1, and then Jermaine, I'll get you to pitch in as well, because I know you've got him at number 1 too as well. So the reason LeBron is still number 1 for me is just because of his control of the court and the way that he, like you put him on any. You talk about setting a team up around him. You could put LeBron with any 5 players, and he would make the playoffs. And I just can't say that for any other.
Except for last season.
He was injured. He was injured,
yeah.
and the Lakers are some kind of special. But but I think that his playmaking ability is the thing that sets him apart from Giannis and Kawhi, and also the reason that I've got Giannis above Kawhi, because Kawhi doesn't have that ability to play make. Yeah. He's not as good at creating his own shot as I think LeBron is, in terms of like off the dribble pull up jumpers, which LeBron's improved in a lot. I think Kawhi he's very timely with his baskets, which is why he gets a lot of praise. He'll make shots at key moments, which are very important. But in terms of the totality of the game, I think LeBron just has a greater impact, whether it's, setting up his teammates through passing, creating his own shots. I think his totality of his game is able to get there. Yeah. And you might say that Kawhi has like a better defense than LeBron. I would agree, but I just think that is less important, and I think that team defense is probably more prevalent in the NBA today than your individual one-on-one matchups. Yeah. So even though I would say Kawhi's a better defender, I still think that the playmaking of LeBron sets him apart from Kawhi in that way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, and that was a big criteria for me separating. Giannis, even though he was in my fourth spot, but Giannis, Kawhi, and LeBron playmaking is definitely something that separates all of them. And Giannis for me, as you were saying, Mitch, just his liability of not being the greatest shooter. Yes, he has improved, but
have you seen him shoot in these preseason games?
Yeah, he's getting better. And hey, it's looking scary, but we still want to see that improvement in the playoffs, as we always talk about. But playmaking wise, Kawhi, he's gotten better every year. We're seeing him, closing games out. Pick and rolls, coming off and taking those jump shots and everything. Definitely improved. But in terms of being the best player in the league, LeBron James, just the way he controls the floor, as you're saying, just orchestrates everything, slows the tempo down, gets a bucket when you need it in crunch time.
Yep.
I think that's just something that he's always had, and that's what's kind of separated him. Along with his athleticism. But
cool.
That's why I've got him at number one as well.
All right. Well, thanks, boys. I think we'll probably leave it there. Anyone listening, if you have a different opinion and if you want to get in touch with us, feel free to shoot us an email. We've got an email set up at ballboysnba@gmail.com, or if you're watching along the YouTube, you can hit us up in the comments. And if you are watching, thanks for getting on amongst the first two episodes. And if you don't mind leaving us a review or a like on YouTube, that would be much appreciated. But thank you, boys, for jumping in for episode 2. And
it's great to be back on the podcast and continue it on.
And next time we'll catch up with you all. We'll have actual basketball to talk about, meaningful games that we can jump into, and I can't wait.
I can't wait.
Let's go, boys. All right, I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.